I feel like I can just put on a recording of what we've been saying about gold recently, but actually going back a number of years. I'm proud of the fact that we recommended gold as the number one sort of position, not just for safety, but also for growth. And look at the performance in this past year. Rob Levy joins me. He lives this every day at Border Gold with people coming in, et cetera. He's buying and selling there. Hey, Rob, let me start with a great sort of stat. I get asked all the time, why is gold moving? And it depends which country you're in, first of all. People in India may have very different demands, because it's a global market than people in Germany, for example, or maybe they overlap. But I love this. I looked at the price of a single detached home in Vancouver in March 2021. Well, to buy that house at that time would be 400 ounces or 800 ounces of gold to buy it in 2021. Cut in half now, only 400 ounces of gold. And it's the same thing like if you talk about grocery prices. They're up 27%, but yeah, man, measured in gold, they're actually down 40%. And that gets to the heart, I think, of why at least some people are buying gold.
You nailed it, Mike. It is the de facto hedge in your portfolio to protect your purchasing power. And you look at different periods of history, and yeah, it might serve that role better than others, but
Mhm.
especially in the economic environment that we're in today, gold plays that role as a hedge. And as you said, we're seeing it play out.
And then we got to throw in, of course, that we've been chronicling that central bank buying was number one on this. Individuals got in late, and we'll see how more to go. But central banks, and I think that then comes back to freezing Russian assets. That the geopolitical tensions. If I'm China, I don't want to keep my treasury bills. I don't want to finance the U.S. war effort. So they started to replace with gold. And I mean, I think gold sums up so much of what's going on in the world today.
I 100% agree with you. Absolutely right. Because, as we've talked about, that might be the replay is that central banks have been the predominant theme in this market and almost putting a floor
Mhm.
underneath it. But as you said, it goes back to Russia and the SWIFT system and the geopolitical attractiveness is gold, where there is no counterparty risk. It's the asset that you own and hold.
Yeah.
And, there's a story there. Central banks repatriating their gold because people want the gold that they own domiciled in their own country. So that's a theme that's playing out. But then, as you said, the investor rush these last couple of months, and you look at ETF inflow, and,
Yeah.
and they've joined the party too. So, I mean, just a quick one for you: total ETF inflows in the latest quarter through to September, 26 billion, their biggest quarter on record, and that was led in North America, where it was 16 billion of ETF inflows, 10.6 billion in September. So, I mean, a lot of numbers there, but it sort of goes with the rally that we've seen in the market in the huge month of September that we've seen in precious metal prices, where U.S. investors going into gold ETFs.
It's interesting. I was looking at the performance of the Van Eck Junior Gold Miners, and I got to throw a shout out to Peter Grandage, who was with us, at the World Outlook Conference, and Frank Justra, saying the Junior Gold's time is here. So one of the ways to measure that is looking at the Junior Gold ETF. It's up like 135% since then. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's just been a wild market, and it's playing that catch up. Everyone a part of this rally, including the juniors now. Telling the story of just how tight an investor demand and appetite for it.
Well, one of the things, because you're on the ground at Border Gold, you're seeing people come and go. And are you noticing a big push for buying, or is there a big push for profit taking and selling? I'm talking now individuals.
Yeah, at the individual level, nobody is. I mean, nobody's an overstatement, but very few people are liquidating now. It is mostly people coming into this market for the first time, new buyers who are participating. At the later stage of this rally, and who knows where it goes from here. Especially as everybody's watching, silver prices, which
Yeah.
are getting precariously close to that 49.50 spot, all time record high.
Well, I wanted to go to silver,
Yeah.
because we've seen this spectacular move, and I was joking earlier. I've got to have to get some ointment for my back because I'm patting myself on it so regularly. But what's interesting? It's that literally silver was the reason I started to quote, that Hemingway quote. Uh, how did you go bankrupt? He said, slowly, then quickly. And I said, well, that's how I'm seeing these market moves. And silver was my poster child, just so boring and nothing. And all of a sudden, a spike move here. Give us a little background on that. What are you thinking there?
It's just silver, as it always is. When we get these spikes in the demand, that market can get very tight very quickly.
Hmm.
And that's what we've seen, is that there's just such demand for silver right now. And the secondary market, as we talked a second ago, usually people selling, profit taking. It's not there. Nobody's selling silver right now. So it relies on the mints. And it's just there's not much metal going around. And then if they want to finance metal because the market's so tight, they're paying finance rates near 20% right now, which only raises the cost of
Wow.
production and makes it harder to keep it on the shelf. So, they throw out a key term, backwardation, where the futures months, the front month futures contract is trading at a discount to the spot market. I mean, it sounds complex, but all it means is that there's just such rampant demand for silver right now, and the market's tight for supply. So it's being, in a sense, squeezed, and we naturally, sometimes this plays out over time and it goes back to normality. But you're in a point of a lot of pressure right now in the silver market.
Yeah, as you say, right now, people want the silver right now,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you look out 1 or 2 months, they're not anticipating that degree of sort of, these are my words, panic buying, or desperate buying. So, which is pushing the short term. That's fascinating. I mean, that's a key component when you look at the precious metals markets.
Exactly. Is it's people want it immediately, immediate delivery, and it makes the market extremely tight right now.
I just think there's so much happening, and I do appreciate you finding time for us, because I know, man, you don't get a moment during the day because the foot traffic picks up, the phone calls pick up, the institutions pick up from around North America for Border Gold. I'm glad you took our phone call.
Oh, always, Mike. It's nice to be with you.